Running a Gourmet City in the Apocalypse. Chapter 8. Special abilities always have drawbacks. The group left with their food, looking somewhat dazed as they departed. Jiang Yin cleared her throat. Ahem. It wasn't her fault. The system was her biggest secret, and she could never reveal it to anyone. So she had to bluff that her own ability created the safe zone, which had fooled the mutant tiger. Fortunately, in this world, abilities were diverse. Although the safe zone sounded absurd, they ultimately accepted it, albeit reluctantly. But so what? The system was part of her, so it wasn't really a lie. Based on the past couple of days, the child should be arriving soon. She prepared some food but waited until midnight with no sign of him. Jiang Yin couldn't help but worry, praying that nothing had happened to him. After waiting a bit longer with no results, she hung the food on the tree where the child often hid and returned to her makeshift staff quarters. She then opened the system's back end and saw that after selling 300 pancakes and 100 cups of soy milk, the pancake shop could be upgraded again. Upgrading to level 4 required 200 crystal cores. She reluctantly clicked confirm, murmuring, "System, you better make this upgrade worth it." The system remained silent. The upgrade would take 90 minutes. As she waited, she occasionally peeked into the forest. However, even after the pancake shop upgraded to level 4, there was still no sign of the child. When the system finally indicated the upgrade was complete, the shop had changed again. All 4 griddles were now operational, the soy milk machines had been replaced with 3 new blenders, and there was an additional large pot next to the braising pot on the left. The pancake menu had expanded to include ham and egg, and chicken fillet and egg options, both priced at 3 level 1 crystal cores. Additionally, mung bean soup had been added, priced at 1 crystal core. Seeing the mung bean soup made her eyes light up. It was currently hot, and the cool mung bean soup would be much more appealing than hot soy milk. She quickly opened the system store, bought 10 pounds of mung beans, washed them and soaked them in water. She then divided them into 2-pound portions and placed them in the freezer before preparing to go to bed. Before sleeping, she checked again. The food was still hanging there, leaving her disappointed but resigned to rest. Perhaps because she was worried, Jiang Yin woke up early the next morning. The first thing she did was run out to check the tree. The food was gone, but she couldn't be sure if the child had taken it. Feeling heavy-hearted, she returned to the pancake shop and began preparing for business. She mixed a large bucket of batter, marinated beef strips, and soaked new chunks of beef to remove the blood before putting them into the braising pot to cook. Within half an hour, the strong aroma of braised beef filled the air. She took the large frozen blocks of mung beans, placed them in the new pot of boiling water, and cooked them for 20 minutes until the beans were fully cooked. The 3 soy milk machines worked at full capacity, turning 2/3 of the mung beans into a smooth paste. She added a small spoonful of whole mung beans, poured the mixture into cups, and placed them in the fridge to chill. After rebraising the beef, the preparations were nearly complete. Emerging from her immersive work state, Jiang Yin realized it was nearly noon, yet no customers had appeared. That shouldn't be the case. Gu Huiting and his team had shown a strong desire for food over the past 2 days. Why hadn't they come to wholesale today? She had prepared plenty of food today. If it didn't sell, it would be a huge loss. Fortunately, not long after, she saw Zheng Huiwan and a young girl about 14 or 15 years old walking down the forest path. Both parties visibly relaxed upon seeing each other. Jiang Yin was relieved to have customers, while Zheng Huiwan, who had felt like yesterday's events were a dream, now felt a sense of reality seeing the pancake shop still standing. "Boss, I'm here to do business with you again." Jiang Yin beamed. "Welcome back. What would you like to order today? We have some new items you might want to check out." Zheng Huiwan looked at the price list and her eyes lit up when she saw the iced mung bean soup. After a moment of calculation, she began to order 30 egg pancakes, 5 each of the other 4 types, 20 cups of mung bean soup, and 20 cups of soy milk, including 10 red date and peanut soy milk. Noting the different quantities, Jiang Yin busily prepared the order while casually asking, "That's a lot of food. Can you two manage to carry it all back?" "Don't worry, we have our ways," Zheng Huiwan replied without elaborating. Knowing better than to press, Jiang Yin immersed herself in her work until she heard a comment. "Boss, your pancake shop is well set up, but it lacks a few tables and chairs. Looking up, she saw Zheng Huiwan wiping her sweat and fanning herself with her hand, clearly feeling the heat. It made sense. The area in front of the pancake shop was an open space with no shade, making it quite hot by noon. Customers had to stand while eating, which was fine for pancakes and soy milk, but it would be inconvenient if she ever added items like noodles. She remembered that the system store had tables and chairs for sale, but she hadn't bought them earlier due to a lack of crystal cores. Now that a customer had requested it, she needed to provide good service. She smiled and said, "I have tables and chairs in the back, just haven't set them up. Please wait a moment." She went to the back, pretending to fetch the tables and chairs from the staff quarters. In reality, she purchased 2 foldable picnic tables from the system store and brought them out, setting them up in front of the pancake shop. She then dragged out 2 large commercial umbrellas. The umbrellas were heavy, and she struggled with them. Zheng Huiwan couldn't stand watching and said, "Let me help." Not wanting to burden a customer with heavy lifting, Jiang Yin was about to refuse when she saw Zheng Huiwan effortlessly pick up an umbrella with one hand. She walked to the picnic table, measured the position and asked, "Is this spot okay?" "Why, yes." Jiang Yin stuttered in shock. She watched as Zheng Huiwan opened the umbrella and firmly planted it into the ground, securing it over the picnic table. "There should be another one, right?" Zheng Huiwan said, not even out of breath. Soon the second umbrella was set up. Zheng Huiwan and her companion sat in the shade, expressing their comfort. Jiang Yin quickly brought over 2 cups of iced mung bean soup. "Thank you for your help. These are on the house." They accepted without hesitation, their straightforwardness making Jiang Yin like them even more. She sincerely said, "You're very strong. I'm envious." Zheng Huiwan looked at her skinny arms and legs with some disdain. "You're too frail." Usually, when people awaken their abilities, their senses, physical strength, and speed all improve. Why hasn't your body strengthened at all? So abilities had such benefits? Unfortunately, her so-called ability was fake. She could only smile awkwardly. "I don't know why it's like this." Zheng Huiwan quickly found a reason. "Maybe your ability is too special. From what I know, special abilities often come with some drawbacks." She glanced at her companion, a layer of worry evident in her eyes. Chapter 9: Eat or Die Trying. Jiang Yin didn't notice Zheng Huijuan's expression. After committing the information to memory, she returned to her busy work behind the counter. Zheng Huiwan and her companion were quietly enjoying their mung bean soup when suddenly, she felt a light tug on her sleeve. "What's wrong?" she asked her companion softly. "Auntie, what is that delicious smell?" The young girl's face was flushed, but she couldn't stop swallowing. Zheng Huijuan's expression softened. "That's the aroma of braised beef. Jingjing, do you want to try some?" The young girl was silent for a moment before slowly shaking her head. "I'm just curious. I've never smelled anything like it before." Zheng Huiwan felt a pang of sorrow. As the apocalypse dragged on, many things had gone extinct, and the peaceful, prosperous era seemed like a distant memory, only existing in stories and memories. She could see that her niece was clearly tempted but was too sensible to say so. Zheng Huiwan patted Jingjing's head and then walked over to the counter. "Boss, do you have any braised beef today?" "Yes, we do. Would you like a serving?" "Yes." Before the 5 light green crystal cores were even placed on the counter, Jingjing had hurried over and grabbed Zheng Huijuan's hand. "Auntie, I don't want it." "It's all right. These are my own crystal cores. Auntie hasn't had braised beef in a long time either. Let's buy a serving and share it." Zheng Huijuan's tone was gentle, but her actions were firm as she placed the crystal cores on the counter. Jiang Yin glanced at the 2 of them, said nothing, and went to slice a portion of braised beef. The young girl was very embarrassed, but after tasting a bite, she quickly divided the beef into 2 portions, one larger and one smaller, clearly intending to give more to Zheng Huiwan. Zheng Huiwan, however, pushed some back and sternly said, "Half each. Be good." When they finished eating, their order was ready. Zheng Huiwan carefully counted the items and found that there were 10 extra pancakes. She quickly grabbed the extra pancakes and set them aside, saying, "Boss, you made too many." Jiang Yin raised her hand to stop her, smiling. "They're not extra. I'm giving them to you." "How can we accept that?" Zheng Huiwan declined. As fellow women, Surviving in the apocalypse is already harder for us. We should help each other, Zhang Yin insisted. But please keep this a secret. Having done business before the apocalypse, Zhang Huiwan immediately understood and nodded repeatedly. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone. Thank you, boss. You're welcome. I hope to see you again. As she spoke, Zhang Yin curiously watched them, wondering how they would carry so much food. She saw Zhang Huiwan hesitate before whispering something to Jingjing. Without hesitation, the young girl picked up several bags of pancakes and tossed them into the air. A miraculous thing happened. The items vanished into thin air. Jingjing continued this until all the pancakes and soy milk were stored. Zhang Yin's eyes widened as she looked the girl up and down, then suddenly thought of something and blurted out, "Is that a spatial ability?" "Yes," Zhang Huan nodded. "Please keep this a secret too." Zhang Yin nodded quickly and watched them disappear into the forest path. After a short nap, she found herself idly sitting behind the counter. It was already past 3, and it seemed Gu Huiting's team wouldn't be coming today. They were her first big customers in this world, and she missed them a bit now that they hadn't shown up. Perhaps thinking about them brought them back. As a group suddenly emerged from the forest, it was Gu Huiting and his teammates. However, they looked quite battered with varying degrees of injuries. Among them, Xiong was the most severely injured, with a gruesome wound extending from his left chest to his abdomen. A quick glance made it seem like she could see his beating heart and red intestines. Thanks to her experience with bloody food ingredients, she managed to stay strong despite her pale face. The group barely made it to the clearing before collapsing. Xiong fell to the ground, and the others quickly surrounded him, pulling out bandages and medicine to treat his wounds. Soon Sun Hao's anxious voice rang out. "Boss, Xiong's wound is too big. The medicine powder just washes away." Another teammate on the verge of tears said, "That beast's claws are poisonous. We've tried all the antidotes but none work. Xiong can't be moved anymore, or the poison will spread faster." Gu Huiting's face was grim, but he spoke steadily. "Monkey, go find a healer." The crying teammate immediately ran off without a word. Zhang Yin noticed that he had a leg injury, causing him to stumble as he ran, with blood seeping from the wound. Yet he didn't stop for a second and quickly disappeared. It was clear that the team members shared a deep bond. Gu Huiting sat beside Xiong, pressing his hand on the wound. "Xiong, hang in there." The injured man nodded slightly, then slowly said, "Boss, I want to eat something." Everyone's faces fell. Sun Hao raised his hand to pat him but lowered it gently. "You're in no condition to eat. Wait until the healer comes and you're better. Then I'll buy you whatever you want." Xiong grinned. "Hey, it's rare for you to offer to treat me." Sun Hao's eyes reddened, but he kept his tone light. "Since when have I been stingy? Then buy me something now." "I said wait until you're better." Xiong's voice weakened. "I want to eat now. I don't want to die hungry." Sun Hao's voice abruptly cut off. He stood up suddenly and rushed to the counter to place an order, adding weakly, "Boss, please hurry." Understanding his urgency, Zhang Yin felt a lump in her throat and quickly nodded, working as fast as she could. Soon, for different flavored pancakes, red date and peanut soy milk, mung bean soup, and braised beef were brought to Xiong. Gu Huiting pressed his lips tightly together, using his body as a cushion to support Xiong. Sun Hao and another teammate carefully fed him different foods. The usually ravenous eater struggled to chew today, taking a long time to finish one pancake, a few sips of mung bean soup, and 2 slices of braised beef. When Sun Hao tried to feed him more, Xiong suddenly shook his head and turned away. Gu Huiting and the others' faces darkened, and the tension was palpable. Zhang Yin was also extremely worried. She couldn't bear to see someone she knew die in front of her, so she pretended to look for something and hid in the staff quarters. Soon she heard a few faint cries and tears streamed down her face. Before she could wipe them away, Sun Hao's frantic voice called out, "Boss, come out! Boss! Boss!" She quickly wiped her face and walked out, trying to stay calm. She saw Sun Hao clinging to the counter, looking extremely agitated. "Boss, quick, more food." Welcome to subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell and follow.